podcast you cheer for. Sneaker, business, talk. It's the Soul Material Podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Material Podcast, the podcast you cheer for. I'm the OGEO.
All right, it's T Marcus Street Sharp.
And we're here to give you some more of that sneaker business talk, clarity over popularity, and the topic of discussion, Reebok. The OG like myself and the Shark, I tell you, boy, we've been for the incline, the decline, and all the in-between. Since they were bought out by the American Authentic Brands Group 2021, we have been waiting for an explosion for Bach life to become the life again, particularly with the cycle and how everything is going with the popularity, if you will, of sneakers and so forth. So, Shark, just kick it off because I know you respected the game since day one, particularly given, again, when you played high school basketball, some of the releases that came out that are dear to your heart. So let the people know, man, what's up with Reebok and what are you expecting from them and where they are falling short right now in this day and time?
Yeah, well, Reebok has ridden the vicious cycle because it's almost like they just left. Well, it's not almost. They did. They left basketball completely, which was a big bread and butter for them. Other than the economy trainers, no one's really buying training shoes from Reebok. The failure of the Zig Tech, sorry, John Wall, I know you got your money, but I don't know if that helped or hurt you from wearing those shoes. Maybe the knees wouldn't have been as bad in the beginning, but no, when it comes to classic, like 90s Reeboks and things are coming back, can't go wrong with any pumps, especially Omni Zone or Twilights. Twilights are coming back. You actually see some combos are coming back, which is some weird hybrids right now with this Iverson Question pump that's dropping now. Probably by the time you've listening to this episode, it's probably already dropped. Again, the Twilights are coming back. Some like the Dominic Wilkins. They just keep dropping pumps. The Shacks, especially the Shack Attacks, the first ones. It's funny how like the first retro, like the OG Orlando colorway, everyone was drooling over those and paying, pretty handsome resale value at that time, and then they start coming out with other colorways and just nobody cared. And then now 2023, more of the Shack Attacks are back, and I can just see they're actually doing some pretty good collaborations and changing up the materials. I feel like the alternate colorways this time around are way better than what they were pulling off on the last retro, but I can see that nobody really cares because these things are getting marked down pretty swiftly. Mm-hmm. And so I'll just keep waiting, and I'll cop mine later. But same thing. That's why it's hard for these things to, the good stuff to come back because, more kamikazes came and went again within the last year with the Sean Kemps. Again, I want to see more of the Rain Mans than anything else. And just give me, we've talked about some of those too, how Rain Man 2s is one of my favorites as well. The Reebok Blast is back. No one knows. Like you can go to Champ Sports and go get it right now. It's like $135 or something. There's your auto acquisition tip right there. But I have the last retro, and that's definitely over 10 years ago. And people paying like $350 for those things at one point in time. Shoot, I had plenty of Iverson and Answers, the first DMX ones, especially like I remember cleaning house on the navy blue patent Answers because they look like the OG Xavier ones. And I just remember holding on those for like 2 or 3 years and then just hitting people over the head. I didn't even realize that people wanted them. But then I was, there was for a shoe that I paid $35 for on clearance or whatever. Definitely. And then within 2 years selling it for $250, $300. That's crazy. People just aren't patient enough. But yeah, I love those. So I do, I still have my last retro of the Blast, but I love like the Glenn Robinsons with the rails, even the Emmett Smiths with the ES22s. Like, you know, you would see those on the court back in the day. This dude on my team in high school, he had, one dude had the Blast, and then somebody else was rocking the Emmets on the court. So it was, and I had on my Rayman. So, and again, I think Rayman 2 is I still will always say like all time greatest insole. Like it's gonna be hard for me to say another shoe. That's like a weird thing to say, but that the insole that came in that shoe, again, those went into my Jordans later on. I beat those things into the ground. And then one other shoe that I wish would come back. You can see I can see the Slam magazine ads right now with Nick Van Exel, Nick the Quick, the Reebok DMX Lightning. Oh my goodness! Because the DMX technology in the original form, the way that you could feel the AirPods, like, and that was like the coolest thing because from a Converse Larry Johnson React Juice standpoint that looked so cosmetic, or even on the back of the Aero Jams where it had the little juice pod or whatever, so it just looked like it did, but it didn't function, it didn't do anything. But you could feel the DMX, and you're like, it's working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was dramatic the way that those, especially the Lightning, because I'm giving you full, I really rock these commentary to say that the Answer DMXs, it had the multi-chambers in the forefront and the heel. But the Lightning had one big pod in the forefoot, and then it had the multi-pods in the heel. So when you rock the Lightning and that, propulsion that came from that, I felt like that's what Zoom Air was supposed to feel like, because Zoom Air had a little, but it had more court feel, but you could feel the transition a little bit. And then, I guess in the LeBron line, you could feel more Zoom Air like that because the pods got bigger a little bit.
It's funny you mention that because, Tony, I remember wearing those, and you know how you say a mark, you set, go, but you just kind of set. I remember like sometimes just rocking my feet because it just felt so good standing still.
Like I loved it, this is gonna sound weird, but I would rock my foot at the free throw line, getting ready for a rebound. Like, I'm about to box out and blast off on somebody. Just because you could, really, it's like I'm getting momentum. I'm about to take off. So that's actually one of my favorite shoes. I beat those up. Reebok Lightning, and then again the Nick Van Exel. The way that they did those print ads because it still paralleled over to the way that the Iverson campaign meant, because Reebok ads were kind of dark in a good way because it was like gritty, it was not cousin to Reebok Blacktop, which was a whole nother era, which was more gimmicky and commercial than anything, just to tie into urban culture, so they knew where the market was, and they kind of just went all the way there with the, I can hear it now, Reebok, Blacktop, slam, dunk, fast, and then the dude with the cage, on the playground, they're dunking on 8-foot rims and in the commercial or whatever. So, but yeah, Reebok just sparks that nostalgia because it's, just the, not even just the shoes, but that vector windbreaker. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it's not like it came with any particular shoe, but like, again, what a time to be cool. Because it was okay. If you had that fresh, windbreaker or that set, and then who had the vector over there, man, and then that's where you come up with some crispy, something white, or later on with the Iversons and then the blue toe, the pearl toe, and then the infamous, red toe and limited release in Philly, and and like just the nostalgia that came with that, to see Biggie and Puffy rock the Iverson, the questions with like a Versace suit in the with Versace wear in the Hypnotized video, like that's when you knew Reebok was changing a little bit. Now that had a lot to do with AI, who the player was, but at the same time, that 95, 96, and from 96 to 2003, 4, because once you get to the AI 5, 6, 7, it goes another way. But the first questions, and then like the first 4 answers, in particular, yeah, that was the ascension to the MVP as well. So,
and I want to go further than that, Martin, because Sharp, I'm just going to be real with you. Growing up, there were times I remember going to Foot Locker, Athlete's Foot, and having my choice. And a Reebok basketball shoe or cross trainer, if you will, was picked over Force or Flight or an Adidas. So my issue with Reebok is that for some reason, I feel like they forgot who they were, because at that time, particularly my childhood, growing up, junior high school and so forth, the models, man, I remember like the Reebok Mobius was my favorite. Now I'm not sure if anyone's hip to those, but please, if you can, Google those. They had so many, and I was really into black and white, and it seemed like whatever they did, the big Hertz, I mean, it's like they couldn't miss on just the fit and the designs, and I'm just waiting for them to get back to that, as opposed to, like you just said, they bringing out the same models, whether it is the Omni Pump or the Iversons or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and the Kamikazes, and they just keep on laying on those like that's their history. It's part of their history, but it's so much more to 90s Reebok that they could really just reinvigorate, that I'm like, you got so many brands that are doing it the right way. And with social media and everything, it's going to take that much money and that much time as it used to in the past. I'm just kind of disappointed because now I'm waiting for some of that, as you always say, nostalgia to come up, that people are either not hip to, or people who are dedicated, loyal Reebok fans know about, and they just have their originals that are unwearable because they just collect. And that's what I'm waiting on, for them to just have some kind of campaign to say, look, this is who we are. This is what we were. And we had some stake in the game as well, to say that, hey, we were a brand, just like we had our athletes and everything else that propel some things, just like Nike, just like Adidas. No, we were there too. And I'm just waiting on that. Maybe that will never come. But even with the Blast coming back out and how it came back out, Tony, I learned through you. And you were like, hey, did you see that? I'm like, no, where are they? I'm like, what? There was nothing. I mean, nothing outside of, I heard it from you. And then maybe like that next week, I have a colleague who is all about Bach Life, and he basically bought 3 pair, like out the store, like 3 pair. And I was like, but
well, Bach Life, be serious. Bach Life is like like, I say it's like 2 notches under low head life. With that polo, like, that's on another stratosphere. But it's still that serious because it's a niche. But just to spin a point that you just made, like, one, it has to do with the people in charge. And if the right people aren't in charge, they're never going to tell the right stories, and they're not going to unlock the catalog. 2, you specifically said, they don't know who they were. Who said they knew who they were when it was happening? That's part of the point that I think is that you can't catch lightning in a bottle because you didn't even realize when the lightning struck. You know what I mean? Because that's what happens when you get starry-eyed in the moment and you just ride the wave of those players, or that's getting it good, and you're not thinking about that recipe that says, am I good without these people or not? Because you start to think that you got here because of you, but you got here because of them. And then when they rise and fall in their careers, you ain't got nothing left. That meant that you never were going to be able to stand on your own. And then then look what happened when they start reaching, right? When they want to have Reebok back, and then they want to get into the culture because they were in it before, but now they don't know how to re-enter. So now what are they doing? They're going to go, they just go slap it. Yo, Jay-Z, make a shoe, help us out. Oh, the hottest rapper right now that's just killing the game, if 50 Cent, give him a shoe. Jay-Z didn't even go but so far as like, yeah, remodel this Gucci shoe. You know what I'm saying? At least 50, he actually looked at models and some trainer models, and it was more catered to his brand. And then he had his clothing line and paired it up to how he, rock. But I think G Unit kind of messed up the Reebok deal by not wearing the shoes, which was funny part of history as well. But they tried to sell their brand away to hip hop because it's just like, they didn't realize the culture that was happening right in front of their face, probably because the people in charge weren't a part of the culture. So they just rolled with it because it was like, we can't say no right now. We don't have a reason to say no. But now, look, trust me, I've been enough business where people take credit for stuff that they didn't do, but they were around when there was a superstar in the room. And then all of a sudden, they think that they did it. See, the Rockefeller breakup. You know what I'm saying? Like who's who? And like Jay said, like, make another one then. If that's what if you I'm me. So I thought that's my spin on it. Is that because look what happened. They just gave it away, hey, Rick Ross, make a song, Reebok back. Oh yeah, we gonna put Swiss Beats in charge creative direction. Like, what did that have to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, all you did was slap names on stuff and then just use connections and everything like that. And then, Rick Ross said the wrong thing one day, and then people was knocking down your headquarters doors trying to get you to drop him because he was talking about particular drugs for a particular community that you're not supposed to really talk about. You know what I'm saying? So interesting that they don't understand the risks that they were taking because they were doing it the wrong way. And then now look, that's why it's just all quiet. And I'm just like, where's the marketing at? Where's the, I see some strategic partnerships with certain people that you just use for social media. You just seed them stuff. So, but other than that, like really not doing too much.
Like Shark,
but if
right
you want to
now,
seed us some stuff though, we will help you out. Soul Material, DM us, we'll send you the address.
Shark, something just sparked me. I gotta ask because I'm not sure. Who is Reebok's signature basketball athlete right now?
They don't have one.
Allen Iverson. Come on,
Allen Iverson.
Come on,
well, he's about to cash out on the lump sum in a little bit too.
Yeah.
But no, but that was never. They just got back into basketball, so they're not signing athletes. And you really shouldn't. You should just go sign the rookies, to be honest with you. But
yes,
but they didn't have any models because all they're doing is retroing. Like, there's no new model. They tried to do like the updated questions and stuff like that, and they have a little takedown of that I see a couple people rocking. Even Montrezl Harrell wore them one time, but he wears a lot of stuff
definitely,
no matter what. But yeah, no, they're not. It's not. That's why it's just like, what is the strategy? So if it's not that, then are you going heavy social media influencers? No.
Like you just said, the trainer thing is not working, at least to a certain standpoint. Even at outlets, it's like, wow, like it's.
Well, I mean, you know what is actually slightly sustaining over there? Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? So she has her own collection. What is she on her like third shoe by now? Yeah. In apparel collection. So they're keeping pumping them out, and they're not like fully bombing either.
No, they're not. No.
So I mean, but again, you're just attaching to coattails. Reebok, you've done you're clearly spending some money on these licenses for these big collaborations with so many things. So it's nice, but when you force in all these zig shoes and club C's that don't nobody want, like you're ruining the equity of the collaboration because you make 5 different shoes, but 4 of them are stuff that you're forcing on people. You know what I mean? So I'd actually rather see them get back into more nostalgic apparel, and really like I like the like Nice Kicks did a real good NBA Jam collaboration with Reebok where they did the Sean Kemp Kamikaze lows, and then had a sweatsuit that matched up with it with the flaming, you know, Kemp dunking and everything like that.
And what was the follow up to that, Sharp? There was no follow up. Like you get that, and then that's it.
And the only ones promoting it was really more Nice Kicks because it's their collaboration, and then it was just slapped on the Reebok website, and then that's kind of it. But unfortunately, other brands are doing that on the low. I wish that that's not a thing, but that's reflection of who's in charge sometimes as well. That you just you do these collaborations, but you don't support the collaboration. So it's just like you're just doing it just to do it, or that whole release limited amount. If the hype machine is behind it, no one cares about the next 100. But yeah, with Reebok, I'd advise them to build more equity in their own brand. And I get that that's why they're doing these hybrids and bringing back all these Iversons and everything like that, because they didn't really have anything else that worked. So just keep flooding them with AI and just keep regurgitating. I guess it's Shaq's turn again, but something's going to have to give. Eventually a signature athlete has to get into the mold, but who's going to take the risk? As a matter of fact, here's the answer: NIL. All right, just be the first to give an NIL kid the signature. Like, go. I gave that one to you for free. Go
and let him or her
go find the next
influential. Yeah, be influential and have a voice in what's going on. Not only with the design, but with everything. Because now with NILs, people kind of got more than a blueprint of how to do things, but how they want it to. And I'm tired of
expand on it. Do like the New Balance and what's his name, Devin Baisley, where he did the internship and then gets the deal. And then now he knows the process of creating the shoes, and then so there's duality to it, right? So not only are you riding the coattails of the star player, but now that's how you naturally get into the culture, is that you help someone else grow from within, and then later that person becomes in charge and knows more later post-career. So that's how you start it off. You plant the seeds and you teach the people that you want to milk the cash cow. You know what I'm saying? Tell them
look at LaMelo Ball, man, and Puma. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look at how much practice he had in giving feedback from the kid, and and seeing his brothers go through signature woes of you know what I mean. So by the time it's his turn, he's already been through that process so many times that he gives better feedback, right? Because what questions to ask this time, and things like that. So again, let it. That's organic. But if you just keep stopping and going, not being, half toe in the water, that's what you get. And you haven't acquired new customers. So by doing all these retros, you're still just talking to us. Like no kid now would actually even dare play in that stuff, let alone seek it out, because they have no affiliation to it. You don't have you're not even slapping and seeding it to like artists. You should be working with these record labels and sending them outfits for tours and stuff like that. Like that's how this stuff work with these art designers to customize these things. So you don't even have to customize them. The collaboration is you can do collaborations within collaborations. Just having a collaboration with an artist who paint somebody, whoever the celebrity is, so it's just like you gotta compound your reach, and so again, tell us where to send a resume if you need a team, just help put back help make Reebok back the right way, because you gotta tell people, you gotta engage, you have to make it exciting, and it has to be sustainable, meaning you can't come and go, because what else you got though? If not basketball, then what? Right? Because tennis, Racquetball?
Mm.
Nope. That's Fila, actually. You know what I'm saying? Pickleball, watch out. Fila, pickleball. They about to take that over, but nobody paying attention. Shark knows, but nobody paying attention. So where are you at? Oh, CrossFit? CrossFit Reebok? Yeah, I get it. You got the strongest man and woman competitions on ESPN and all the other stuff, but are people consuming your product because
There
of
you
that?
go. There you go.
Right? Because that CrossFit was a lifestyle. It's just like Peloton. Like, I gotta buy the bike to do the exercise. You know, so if I can't get into the CrossFit program without all the uniforms that you keep selling on top of it, you know what I'm saying? So, like, what is that? You know what I mean? You just with Billy Blank's DVD model. You know, you just keep repackaging stuff, but still don't have the substance of the sustainability to just be Reebok. So, you know,
Interesting.
there you go.
Because they can honestly, if you go into the history books, particularly, I'll say between 88 to probably 96, 97, they can have a book this thick of just what they released and have their own sole provider book, if you will, of just the models. And I wish someone would do that and just go back into the history books and just start spitting out some stuff, and something's going to have to stick, if you know, because a lot of this stuff has stories. Remember the old Emmett Smiths? I mean, it's so many shoes that I remember. See, there you go. So I would just like to see with what's going on in a sneaker world right now, to where they come back and say, we are who we are, and we're going to show you. And I just don't think there's any motivation for that. And I think that it's a window right now to do that. So it's terrible for me, because I'm a huge Reebok fan. Like I said, I remember as a kid passing on the sevens to get a pair of black tops. I remember getting the Mobius and those literally being my favorite shoes for half a year. Like, I wore those shoes every day. So there's certain models that are dear to me. And with the craze of retros now, and now we have generations who, quote unquote, wasn't alive when these shoes initially came out, but there's some kind of attachment to it. Why is it attachment? Because of the culture, because of family, because of the storytelling, because of so forth. Yeah. And they have that. They have it. They just have not utilized that at all. So I'm disappointed in that, being a Reebok fan. I'm hoping that someone, as you said, Tony, will get in the right seat, be in charge, be like, oh, here is our 3-year plan. Watch this. And I hope that comes about before I'm dead and gone, but who knows? Yeah,
or like just kickstart your collab series as you used to do with all the boutiques, and then just get in models, and then say make up stories, and we'll release them. You know, like go back to that. Like we actually talked about one of that in the sneaker toy episode, as well. So go back and listen to one of our old episodes where we talked about how those things came about. But they used to do a lot of collabs with the different boutiques. I remember the I forgot the model. It was another pump, but it was the it was like the ACG pump almost, where Extra Butter did the Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Those were nice.
Those were and this nice. With the different materials that were with the camo, and then the safari print, you know, and then that like that horsehair olive, you know, that was a crazy detailed shoe that was just, you know, underrated for its time, you know. But again, what a time. But we're about that Bach life. So that's why we had to talk about it. So just wrapping up another episode of that Sneaker Business Talk, giving you a lot of clarity over popularity over here at the Soul Material Podcast, and that's why we thank you, and we deliver to you the podcast you cheer for. So just to wrap up this Bach Life episode, you know, signing off, it's T Mark the Street Shark
and the OGEO. Peace to you.